Hello, good evening, my wonderful listeners. Welcome back to Second Chances with Hilaria Asumu on Radio Africana, where we have real conversations about life, health, and the power of community. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've been following our journey, I'm so glad to see you this evening. Tonight's episode is one of the most urgent and important discussions we've had yet. The urgency of action, why the Black community needs more donors. Kidney disease is silently devastating Black families, and the shortage of Black donors is making it worse. But you, listening to me right now, have the power to change that. Before we get into tonight's conversation, let's take a moment to reflect on last week's topic. We discussed community care, how the Black community can support organ donors and recipients. That discussion was a wake-up call for many. We talked about the emotional and financial support needed for people going through the transplant process. Things like helping a donor recover after surgery, standing with families waiting for a transplant, and simply spreading awareness about living organ donation. And the impact? Incredible. So many of you reached out sharing your personal stories. Some of you are caring for loved ones on dialysis. Others are organ recipients who felt seen and heard. And for that, I say thank you. Thank you so much. Because this is exactly why we have these conversations, to move from silence to action. Speaking of action, last week I was involved in something truly inspiring, the Fairer Health for All Fellowship project presentation at Friends House in Manchester. See our Facebook page for our Facebook page at WSH BME Kidneys for a reel about it. If you were there, you saw firsthand the passion of pioneer fellows of the program as they presented their projects to public health directors from the Greater Manchester Integrated Care Partnership. These projects aren't just ideas, they are solutions, real steps towards reducing health inequalities in our communities. It was a powerful reminder that when we come together, whether in advocacy, education, or health, we can create change, no matter the race. I was so inspired. On behalf of my colleague fellows, I want to thank the program organizers, Debs Thompson, Alison Whitley, and Joey Etrington. And to my cohort, the first cohort, I appreciate your dedication and research efforts to change and improve the lives of diverse communities throughout Greater Manchester. And that's what tonight is about, change. Tonight, we break down the facts about kidney disease in our community, ease fears about living organ donation, and most importantly, we show how you can be part of the solution. Stay with me because what you learn today might just save a life. But first, let's set the tone with music. The next song is a call to reflection, a reminder that every moment counts when it comes to saving lives. It is Sorrow by Adekunle Gold. So sorrow means prayer, and tonight, prayer and talking, sort of like, let's talk about these issues. And tonight, our conversations are going to center around how we can continue talking to each other. So hang in there, and we'll see you in a bit.
I see go for shadow. Can you decide if you coming with me? Not to be what's going on. Oh baby, personally, I don't think I can do it for so long. And if you leave me, I'm moving on. Come on for a share sorrow. Come on for a share sorrow. Share that sorrow. Come on for a share sorrow. That sorrow, it is my body, they feel my sound, they call me, go Saturday, if I think to your fancy, go by me, it's not be tongue song, yeah, my baby, for street of my tongue song, come to my section, so we get drink, no be gone down. I will not lie to you, I'm here for your love, no jealousy. Spend my money, baby, don't stop. Everything is for you, don't mention. Baby, I'm done with this thing and you see, I see go for the love. Can you decide if you're coming with me, talk to me, what's going on? Oh, baby, personally, I don't think I can do it for so long. And if you leave me, I'm moving on. Come on for a share sorrow. Come on for a share sorrow. If I think to your fancy, go by me,
Welcome back. That was Sorrow by Adekunle Gold. And what a beautiful reminder that when we speak to each other, that, we can actually change minds. We can actually have people, making those decisions and taking action. So whilst we're on here, let's talk facts. Let's talk about the reality that many of us don't see until it hits close to home. Kidney disease is a silent killer in the Black community. It doesn't announce itself with loud symptoms in the early stages. It creeps in. It progresses silently until one day a routine checkup turns into a life-changing diagnosis. And by then, the kidneys are already failing. Let me give you a number that will stop you in your tracks. Black people are 3 to 4 times more likely to develop kidney disease than white people. That's not a coincidence. That's not genetics alone. That is systemic, and it is something we need to talk about. But why is this happening? The leading causes are high blood pressure and diabetes. Kidney disease doesn't happen in isolation. And as I said, it is largely caused by high blood pressure and diabetes, 2 conditions that are most common in Black communities due to a mix of genetic, social, and economic factors. our diets, stress levels, limited access to preventative health care, and even how our bodies process salt. Yes, salt. That puts us at a higher risk. And once kidney function starts to decline, it rarely gets better. The only options left are dialysis or a transplant. The second cause, second cause, the waistline nightmare. That's the painful truth. When a person's kidneys fail, they need a transplant to survive. But right now, there are thousands of Black patients in the UK waiting for a kidney. And they are waiting much longer than others. Currently on the transplant list, we have just over 6,000 people for kidneys alone. But overall, we have over 7,000 people waiting for a transplant on the transplant list. And that is really heartbreaking. These are people who are mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, cousins, you name it. Why? Because organ matches are more successful when the donor and recipient share the same ethnic background. And the reality is, there just aren't enough Black donors. Let me put this into perspective. The average white patient needing a kidney might wait 2 to 3 years or even less than 2 years. But a Black patient could wait 5, 6, 7, in my case, 10 years. Some never make it. Some pass away still waiting. And that is a huge, huge burden on the family, especially if the person is the breadwinner. This is where we need to shift our mindset. We tend to think that organ donation happens only after someone has passed away. But did you know that one kidney from a living donor can function even better than a kidney from a deceased donor? That is why I'm doing this campaign. I'm trying to get people to start understanding what it means when they step forward. It doesn't have to be your family. You just walk off the street and say, I would like to donate. And that actually helps somebody, in the community. Living kidney donation or living organ donation is a game changer. And here's why. The human body only needs one kidney to live a healthy, normal life. Thousands of people worldwide have donated kidneys and gone on to live a full, active lives, running marathons, having children, traveling the world. The surgery is minimally invasive and donors recover within weeks. Before donation, a donor goes through rigorous health screenings to ensure they are in a perfect state. And I know that some of you are thinking, what if I donate and I need a kidney later on in life? That's a myth. It's a valid concern, but here's something you might not know. Living donors actually get priority on transplant lists if they ever need kidneys they need a kidney in the future. And I've always said this to you in all my different sessions. I've always repeated this, and I feel that repeating it over and again will help people to stop thinking and putting this myth in front of them and stopping them from donating to somebody. Now let's talk about another fear, and that fear is, what if I can't live a normal life after donating? The truth is, donors go back to their daily activities, as I just said, work and even sports without any long-term impact on their health. And there's a bigger question. If someone you loved needed a kidney today, I'm asking you listening to me right now, if someone you loved needed a kidney today, wouldn't you want someone to step up for them? And if so, why not be that person for someone else? We have the power to change this. This crisis is not about numbers. It's about real lives. It's about parents who just want to see their kids grow up. It's about young people who should be out building their futures, but instead are stuck in hospitals tied to dialysis machines. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about a young boy, 12-year-old, Jack, who is on his last method of organ donation. And he is sitting down, is waiting, for somebody to step forward to be his hero. And that is what happens to most kidney patients, because kidney is one of the most common organs that people need as an organ for a transplant. It's one of the most common organs that is needed. We can change this, but only if we take action. Only if we start having conversations in our families. Only if we start seeing ourselves not as potential patients, but as lifesavers. And speaking of action, let's take a moment to lift our spirits. Up next is a song that speaks to the energy and hope we need right now. It is Kaba by Wande Cole. Because just like the rhythm of this song lifts our spirits, being a donor lifts the weight of suffering off someone's shoulders. So here is Wande Cole, is Kaba, and I will see you back here in a minute.
Oh no.
Welcome back. Welcome back. That was Iskaba by Wande Cole, a song full of energy, and that's exactly what we need right now. Energy to take action. But I know taking action is not easy. I know many of you are listening and thinking, I understand that people need donors. I understand that it could save lives. But what if something happens to me? And that's the heart of this segment, overcoming fear. Fear is powerful. It can protect us, but it can also hold us back from making life-changing decisions. So tonight, let's address these fears head on. Let's separate myth from facts and get to the truth about living organ donation. I know I've been going on about this for weeks now, but I feel that the more we talk about this myth, the better people would understand and start taking action. And and as I said, fear is powerful and it can paralyze people, but also it can get you moving. So one of the questions, one of the myths that's floating around is, what if I donate and my health suffers? Now, this is one of the highest concerns that people have, and I completely understand. And here's the truth. People who donate a kidney go through rigorous medical testing before they're even allowed to donate. This means that only the healthiest people are approved, or donors are approved. The human body is designed to function perfectly with one kidney. The remaining kidney actually grows slightly to compensate. Living donors do not have a higher risk of kidney failure than the general population. In fact, studies have shown that kidney donors often live just as long, if not longer, than non-donors. If anything, kidney donors tend to be even healthier because they get such detailed medical checkups before donating. So if you are not eligible, if they find anything wrong with your health, they immediately would not go ahead with you, because the doctors are there to make sure that you are able to donate, that you are healthy enough to donate. And sometimes some people find, going through the checks, they find that, they find something that's wrong with them that they weren't even aware of. So it's a win-win situation. You get, all these free medical checkups, and because they have to thoroughly check to make sure that you are up to standard to donate to somebody else, because they don't want to put you at risk because you're donating. You could find, other things that might be wrong that you're not even, aware of. And then they start to treat you. So it is a good thing on both sides, whichever way you look at it. Donating to somebody and, wanting to donate and not being able to do it because, something's been noticed, the doctors start to treat you. So it's actually a good thing. And another question is that, what if I need a kidney later in life? I just touched on this earlier on, and this is a big one, really a big one. Many people hesitate because they wonder, what if I donate my kidney today and then I need one in future? And here is something you may not know. Living donors get priority on the transplant list if they ever need a kidney themselves later in life. Because donors are thoroughly screened beforehand, the chances of them developing kidney disease later are already extremely low. And let's think about this differently. Right now, while you're worrying about what ifs, there are thousands of people who have no choice but to wait for a kidney. That's over 6,000 people waiting for a kidney. And some people ask, what about pregnancy? Can women still have children after donating? Yes, absolutely. You can still go ahead to get pregnant and have your kids. Many women have successfully had healthy pregnancies after donating a kidney. Doctors monitor donors closely, and with proper prenatal care, pregnancy after donation is completely safe. The only advice is that women wait at least 1 year after donation before getting pregnant to allow the body to fully recover. And one other question that people ask is, do I have to be related to the person I donate to? Not at all. Many people assume that you can only donate to family members, but this isn't true. Although that is the most common method of donation, because families will donate to their loved ones. But while family members might be a better match, friends, co-workers, and even strangers can be excellent matches. And I did say that I'm going to bring a donor who donated to his colleague in the office. That's amazing. Unfortunately, they've not been well recently, so I've not been able to bring them on for that interview, but you would be getting them soon. And hopefully you will send in your questions. There are also paired donation programs where if you're not a direct match for someone, you can donate to another recipient, and in return, your loved one receives a kidney from someone else who is also a match for them. And this operation is usually done at once. And if people remember the famous 5 in Birmingham, all five of them were done on the same day. And according to my late friend, she said it took 36 hours, or it was between 36 hours and I can't remember, but I think it was about that, 36 hours to do that operation. That's 3 days, isn't it? Yeah. So it's just amazing that people go to that length to help their loved ones. Imagine being part of a chain of donors, each one helping one person get a second chance at life. That's powerful. One of the questions is recovery times. People ask, what is recovery like after donation? And let's talk about this, because I know surgery sounds scary, even for me, from the Black community. Initially, I always felt that, going into the hospital was not something that I want to do, because I have this phobia for hospitals. I still do. Despite the fact I spent, almost all my adult life in the hospital. But, it is scary. But organ donation is not as invasive as most people think, especially kidneys. The surgery itself takes about 3 hours or thereabouts. Donors usually stay in the hospital for about 3 to 5 days to a week, just to monitor them to make sure that they're okay. Most people can go back to work and normal activities within 4 to 6 weeks. And here's a beautiful fact. Many donors say they feel no difference in their day-to-day life after recovery. I've spoken to kidney donors who say they don't even think about it anymore. It's just something they did, and they live completely normal, active lives. And one of the other questions is, what do kidney donors say? So let's take a moment to step into the shoes of real-life donors. And here are some things that donors have said after their experience. And, I'm just going to read a few from, what I have here, because I've written some of them down. And, one of them was, I don't even feel like anything is missing. My life is the same, but I saved someone else's. Another statement is, the moment I saw my recipient recover and smile, I knew I made the right decision. That's amazing. And another one, that people worry about what they will lose, but what you gain is far greater, knowing you gave someone a second chance at life. It's that second chance they're giving to somebody else. These people are like you and me. They had the same fears, the same doubts, but in the end, they realized that saving a life was bigger than fear. So they took that leap, walked in, and donated to somebody else. And what's the bigger picture? Why does it matter now? At the end of the day, this is about more than just facts and statistics. This is about our community. We are losing too many of our people to kidney disease. We're waiting longer for transplant than other communities. And the only way this changes is if we as a community step up. I know this is a big decision. I know it's not for everybody. But even if you decide not to donate, you can still be part of the solution. Educate yourself. Share this information. Share this show to people and tell them to tune in and listen. Start conversations in your family, with your neighbors, in your office, in the supermarket, on the plane. I've done that before. At parties. Because the more we talk about it, the more lives we save. This conversation is heavy, but it's important. Right now, I want you to take a moment and reflect on what we've talked about. And as you do, listen to this next song. It's Ololufe by Flavor. Ololufe means my love. And this is about showing love to our community in the most meaningful way. I'll see you back in a moment and we continue the conversation. See you soon. Welcome back. That was Ololufe by Flavor, a song about love and devotion. And what greater devotion is there than saving a life? That's exactly what we're talking about tonight. Choosing to be the reason someone else gets a second chance at life. We've talked about the realities of kidney disease in the Black community. We've talked about the long, painful wait that many of our brothers and sisters are enduring because there aren't enough donors. And we've talked about the fears that hold people back from becoming living donors. But now, I want to shift our focus to something else, something far more powerful than fear, and that is hope. Because every time someone chooses to be a donor, they become someone's hope, someone's answer to a prayer, someone's second chance at life. It's easy to feel like these problems are too big and we are too small to make a difference. But let me tell you something. One kidney can save a life. One donor can end someone's suffering. One decision can give a parent back to their children. And that's exactly what happened to me. Imagine this. You are standing in a hospital room, and across from you is someone you don't know, someone who has been sick for years, someone who has spent hours hooked up to a dialysis machine, hoping and praying for a match. Then they get the call. Your kidney is a match. You are their second chance. And just like that, their whole life changes. Their children get to keep their parents. Their dreams get to live on. And it's because of you. That's the power of one decision. And it is a very important one. There's a saying, if we do not save ourselves, who will? And that's the truth. Because as I said earlier, the transplant only works. Well, it works well. It doesn't mean that we can't get a transplant from other races, but it only works better, it succeeds if it's from somebody from your own ethnic background. The truth is, the Black community has always been the backbone of its own survival. We all know that. We take care of each other. We show up for each other. But in this area, when it comes to organ donation, our community is suffering. Black patients make up a large percentage of the kidney transplant waiting list, but only a small percentage of living donors. Many of us are waiting longer and suffering more because there aren't enough donors from our own community. We must be the solution. We must be the answer. Because when we step up, we ensure that our people don't have to suffer in silence. We ensure that the next generation won't have to wait in fear, hoping for a donor who may never come. And I'm just plugging in Jack. I don't know if a donor has come forward, but if a donor hasn't come forward, I don't know the race that Jack comes from, but he might be white, Chinese, Black, Asian, wherever he's from. We all have to come together to help Jack. So contact the Leeds City Council and put yourself forward to test to see if you can donate to Jack. That is my plugin. Okay? So we can change this. And that starts with you, with us. Our ancestors fought battles we can't even imagine. They endured struggles for far greater than this. And yet they survived. Not only survived, but thrived. And why? Because they chose courage over fear. Without them fighting, we won't even be here today. Today, we are being called to do the same. This isn't a fight against oppression. This isn't a fight against injustice. This is a fight against time. A fight to give more of our people a chance to live. What do you want our legacy to be? Do we want to be the generation that lets our fear dictate our actions? Or do we want to be the generation that chose courage, that stood up, stepped forward, and changed the future for our people? I want you to pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you need to, and picture this. Imagine your mother, because we all have our mothers, don't we? Imagine your mother on dialysis machine, waiting for a donor that may never come. I was at that stage years ago. It's over 6 years now since I got my transplant, 2018. My children were watching me struggle to stay alive. So you put yourself in my children's shoes, watching their mother on a dialysis machine, waiting for a transplant for 10 years. Imagine your best friends getting weaker each day, their life put on hold, trapped by the limitations of kidney failure. And my best friend, my girlfriend from high school, did that for me. She came forward to be a living donor, unheard of in the Black community, but she did. Imagine it was you in her shoes. If you were in that position of my girlfriend from high school or my children, wouldn't you pray for someone to step forward? Wouldn't you hope that someone somewhere would choose to be your lifeline? If you would hope for someone to save us, shouldn't we be willing to do the same for others? The time is now. This is not a tomorrow issue. This is a today issue. Every day, someone in our community is added to the transplant waiting list. Every day, another Black patient loses hope as they wait longer than others. Every day, someone is praying for a miracle. What if you are that miracle? The best time to make a difference is now, not later. Not when it's someone you love facing kidney failure, but now, when you still have the power to act. If you felt moved by this conversation tonight, don't let that feeling fade away. Take action. Learn more about living donation, because knowledge is power. Understand what it means and what the process looks like. Start the conversation. Talk to your family and friends about living organ donation. Organ donation generally. Help change the narrative in our community. Sign up as a donor. If you feel called to do so, take the next step. Find out how to get evaluated as a potential donor. Because the truth is, someone out there is waiting for you. Someone you may never meet. But your decision today could be the reason they see tomorrow. Are you ready to be someone's second chance? Let's close this conversation with a song that speaks the strength within us. Great Nation by Timi Dakolo, because we are a great people. And when we come together, we can do great things, including saving life. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. That was Timi Dakolo with Great Nation. Amazing song. As Nigerians, we tend to look out for each other. And, that song is just brought this, these emotions up in me. So I want to encourage us to not think just about ourselves, but think about others. So tonight has been powerful. We've had a conversation that is not always easy, but it is necessary. We've talked about the silent crisis of kidney disease in the Black community, the long waiting list for organ transplants, and the fears that stop people from becoming living donors. But most importantly, we've talked about solutions. We've talked about the power of one person to save a life. Now, I want you to take a moment and reflect, not just on the words spoken here tonight, but on what they mean for you, for your family, and for your community. If you felt something during this conversation, don't let it stay here. Take it with you, think about it, talk about it, and share it. Because change does not happen in silence. It happens when we bring others into the conversation. If this show moved you, if it made you think differently about living organ donation or organ donation in general, then I ask you, please share this. Share the link with your family, your friends, your community. The link, the social media platform to go where I'm actually streaming live right now is at WSHBME Kidneys. You can rewatch this, you can share it with people and get them to start talking about organ donation. And also encourage others to log in, to listen and to ask questions. Just leave the comments, leave your questions in the comments and I will pick them up. Because the more we talk, the more we understand. And the more we understand, the more lives we save. In many African traditions, storytelling is how we pass down wisdom. And tonight, I want to leave you with the story of Ananse the spider. One day, Ananse found a pot of wisdom. He decided he would keep it all for himself, believing that if he was the only one with wisdom, he would be the most powerful of all. He climbed a tall tree to hide the pot, but as he struggled, his little son watched from below and said, "Father, if you tied the pot behind you instead of in front, you would climb faster." Ananse realized something that day. True wisdom is not keeping those things to yourself, but in sharing it with others. So he poured the wisdom out into the world, and that is why wisdom belongs to everyone today. Now, if you're from Ghana or from Nigeria, you would know the story. And, there's another saying that says, out of the mouth of babes. So his little son actually noticed that he didn't have that wisdom, even if he had the wisdom all in a pot in front of him, trying to keep it all to himself. But the most important one he should have known is climbing up that tree. He has to put that behind him for him to be able to climb faster, but he couldn't do that. The same is true for giving, wisdom belongs to everyone, but, also giving is for everyone. When we hold on to what we can share, we limit the good that can come from it. And when we give, whether it's knowledge, kindness, or even a kidney or a liver, we create something bigger than ourselves. Living donation is a gift that does not take from you, but instead multiplies. It's a chance to leave a legacy, to be remembered as someone who chose courage, who chose to save a life. If you're ready to learn more about becoming a donor, take that step today. Visit www.organdonation.nhs.uk. That's the NHS Blood and Transplant website, where you can sign up to be on the organ donor register and find more information about living kidney donation. And if you still have questions, ask them. Reach out, get informed, and keep the conversation going. My final thoughts: we are not just individuals, we are a community. And when one of us suffers, we all feel it. But when one of us steps up, we all rise. So tonight, I ask you, will you be the one who helps us rise? Thank you for tuning in to Second Chances with Hilaria Asumu. I leave you with a great closing song from Omale, Understand. It speaks to understanding life's challenges and making choices that impact others, much like the decision to become a living organ donor. So until next time, be well, be kind, and be the change. I will see you next Sunday at 5 p.m. with Second Chances with Hilaria Asumu on Radio Africana. I'll see you soon. You take care. Bye.
I thought we ain't